grading companies can be so inconsistent, and I've found that out firsthand by sending a lot of different cards to PSA and recently to Beckett. So let me explain. I have received over the course of the last few months some cards back from PSA that in this case were min size or minimum size requirements did not meet their standards. Therefore, the cards are essentially too small, or they don't say they're trimmed, but they just say they don't meet the minimum size requirements. So therefore, the only choices I have are just to believe them and give up and just keep them as is. I would like to grade some of these cards. So for example, this 1996 Allen Iverson Upper Deck card, it's his rookie card. In a PSA 10, this can be about a $100 card. Little less obviously in a 9, but I sent it because I feel like it could gem. The next one is a 1987 Topps Reggie Jackson. Nothing special, but I just loved how centered this card was, and the back's a little off center from left to right or right to left, but nonetheless, I feel like that's just, it might meet the minimum requirement there, and I feel like it would grade well. In a 10, this is probably max a $40 card or so. And then finally, this Nolan Ryan from 1973 Topps. This card can essentially get, I would say, a 3 or a 4, on the high side of 5. But even then, you're talking about a $35 to $60 card if it grades there. So there's a little room to make a little money if that's what you're doing with grading. So regardless, I wanted to get these graded, but obviously that's not going to be the case with PSA. Now, I could send them back to PSA and have them graded again, different graders, different grades, right? And that just shows the inconsistency of these grading companies. Regardless of what you do and the precautions you take to look over your cards and to eyeball the corners and to look at the surfaces and make sure the centering's right, or even taking a magnifying glass and taking a closer look. The inconsistency from grader to grader and from grading company to grading company can be inconsistent. So I wanted to put these grading companies to the test. And not only that, I wanted to take this cracked out CCG 8 Willie Mays 1969 Topps card and get some value back for it, because I had bought it as an 8. I knew it was probably not an 8, perhaps a 6 or a 7, but at this point it is altered and it's really worth whatever somebody would be willing to pay for it raw. And I still thought there was value in grading it if it was indeed not altered. So I wanted to put the company to the test, a grading company. So what I did was I sent it off to BGS, and I sent this off at the West Coast Card Show. I believe that was in August. I'll put the date on the screen, but nonetheless, so I sent that 1969 Willie Mays card to Beckett, and it has arrived along with 2 other cards, and they are in here. I know the grades already, but I've kind of already forgotten. But what you'll notice, and I'll give it away right now, is they actually graded the card, and I got a grade for my Willie Mays card. So that is great news. And the other thing is, it actually forced me to expand and try a different grading company. Way back 20 years ago or so, or whenever I started grading, I had tried Beckett, but I have been with PSA for many years now, and I think it's a high time that perhaps I start grading with other companies. And I don't mind at all. I think it's good for the industry to have multiple players in the grading world and system, so there's not a monopoly. Again, there are 3 cards in here, one being that Willie Mays card, and I believe there's a Roger Staubach and a Cliff Branch, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I just grabbed some random cards just to kind of pair with the Willie Mays, so the Willie Mays didn't go alone and get graded alone. It's funny because I've graded so much with PSA that you get used to a certain style of delivery and packaging. And not to say this is bad, it's just a little different. There's more branding, I guess, on PSA's packaging, but nonetheless, this is fine. Better be careful here. Right on the top is the Roger Staubach. Let me move them over here. Take it out of its bag. Beautiful. I do love the look of Beckett. It's just different. It's just different. I'm not gonna say it's better or worse than PSA. I just think it's fine. It's just different. So this card got a 5. All right. Again, I was neither here nor there. Roger Staubach and the Cowboys were my favorite team and quarterback back in the 70s and early 80s. Till I switched up. I am a Rams fan now, but still, this was my childhood. Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, Harvey Martin, Too Tall Jones, the whole 9. The next card kind of looked like, for a second, looked like Walter Payton. But this is Cliff Branch, former Raider great, in fact. Great wide receiver. This got a 4.5. And I knew these weren't going to grade that well, but nonetheless, I wanted to send, again, the Willie Mays. I wanted to send him with some buddies. And here is the Willie Mays. And I'm so glad that now I have a grade, a 5.5, a BGS 5.5. And it looks great in the holder. And I'm just glad that I was able to get it graded. So that goes to say, again, the inconsistency from one grading service to another. And what can you do about it? So what are your options? Well, I have 3 for you. And if you have additional options, put them down in the comments below. All right, your first option is to essentially do nothing. Just chalk it up to an experience, and you're just not gonna have that card graded. Boo-hoo. You know, it stinks, and you just have to suck it up. Or, second option is you can send it back to the original grading company and see if a different grader sees that card a little differently. Whether it be minimum, it didn't meet the minimum size requirement. The second time around, it might. It was altered in the eyes of a grader. Second time around, it might not be altered. So it's just that inconsistent at times with these grading companies. Or the third option might be a great one, say it worked for me, and that is to send it to another grading service. I use Beckett, you could use Tag or CGC or BGS or any one of the grading companies out there just to see if you can get your card from an altered to a graded card, which I'm super happy about. All right, that's gonna do it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, any part of it, give me a like, subscribe. Until the next time, see y'all. Peace.